Hi, my name is Elisa. I'm a psychic medium, a spiritual teacher, and a coach. I like to do monthly exploration to get a sense of how energy is moving and what are the main themes at work for all of us these days. So, because we are starting basically new cycle tomorrow with a new moon in Aquarius, but also we're starting like an actual new year, right? Tomorrow. I decided that I wanted to share this exploration through the video. And if you are curious about what kind of energy are at work for us, and especially what this year is probably going to see more of, I suggest you watch the video and please let me know if you have any questions at the end, as I always like to provide context and, go deeper in whatever curiosity, question, or anything else that might come to your mind. Um, Maybe while you're watching or after you watch this video. This is usually a time where we start thinking about our goals and what's possible for us, where we're going to go next, etc. And I think that this is even more important to be aware of the kind of energy that we are surrounded with. And when I say that I do an exploration, what I mean by that is that I connect basically with my guide. I connect with the Akashic Records. I and the masters of the Akashic Records. Um, I look at the main themes from a spiritual perspective, and also many times what I receive are actually specific. I would say, information that I try to report exactly as they come, because I know that there's a reason why they're like that. And sometimes instead the information are so wrapped up that it takes me some time to unravel everything. But it doesn't feel like this time uh, it's too complicated in a sense. So, first of all, we want to consider that there is so much happening daily around us, and there is a lot of heavy energy. There are a lot of things that are happening that aren't honestly the best. I think that we, especially if you're a sensitive person, if you have, if you're an empath, if you normally feel energy in a way, I think that you might be probably affected even more, maybe getting a sense of, like some sort of big things happening around us. And although I'm not here to make any prediction, because I honestly believe that it's always better to know what we have to work with and then do our best to create together with that energy for the highest outcome possible, not just for ourselves, but for everybody. Um, I will not indulge into or try to do any prediction. So I want to set this straight, because other people might work in other ways, and that's perfectly fine. This is just how I like to approach this conversation. And I think that we need to be aware of how we are perceiving the energy these days, how we are looking at the world these days. And it really makes a difference, I would say, like where we are at in our spiritual journey. So somebody might be starting now, somebody might be, well on their ways to um, really have a solid spiritual practice every day and stuff like that. And some other people might be, right there in the middle, and that it's totally okay. Um, just take whatever feels right to you, whatever resonates with you, and leave anything else, and that is totally, totally okay. Okay, so I think that because there are all these crazy things happening and so much happening in such, like a um, little amount of time, so much has changed. We want to consider, first of all, that 2025 is an energy that is influenced by the energy of the number nine. What that means is that we are at the end of a cycle first and foremost. And especially, like this ending is open still. So let's say at the highest expression, the ending could be about everything that we see that, doesn't work for us. It could be, the ending of conflict, the ending of some sort of maybe unhealthy behavior, right? And this could be personal as well as collective. And this is definitely, I think, what we are all hoping for, wishing for, desiring. But at the same time, that could also, represent missing the point, like a cycle ends, and instead of learning from our lessons, both on a personal level and on a collective level, we end up really losing the chance to make the changes, the correct changes. That's what I'm trying to say. So, because of all of this, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling maybe confused or unsure if it makes even sense to sit down and create goals for yourself, I want to say that I think it's very important. And I also think that there is a very big difference between setting goals, just with our minds, and so continuing blindly and trying to achieve things that might not be as crucial right now, as opposed to setting goals with our soul, having goals with soul, which might require a little bit more inner listening and self-awareness, but it's definitely something that is going to make a big difference in how we live our life ultimately. So it's important we acknowledge all these pieces because I think it can be very easy. It's very easy to get distracted and maybe even disheartened at times, discouraged, feeling like, what is this for even? And I think that with the message that I will share with you in a moment, you will understand that it's very important instead that we do, and we don't let our personal growth, our purpose go. We don't want to let that go. Whatever it takes, we're still here. There is a reason why, right? So we can put our beautiful energy and intention at work to move towards the highest good, not just for ourselves, but for everybody else included. And this is really a little bit at the heart of the message that I received this month, I believe. So, want to make the best of our journey so that we also try and contribute our best to others people's journey. So this is a new beginning, right? New Year starts tomorrow. And there are like main themes, like, for example, freedom, forward thinking, finding advanced solutions, and creating abundance that feel like the dominating desires and the main themes. And it's interesting because at the same time, I want to say that all these themes are both our desire, both the main themes, even like of the Aquarian energy, maybe, and at the same time, it's also really what's at stake. Okay, so I would say that maybe at its highest expression, the Aquarian energy really wants the good for everyone, right? They want to include everyone and exclude nobody. But there is also lowest expression, as it is with anything. And this lowest expression, I think that we kind of have under our eyes, really, like we can really see it all around us. It's basically the opposite of the spectrum where, like freedom is limited, or, like the freedom even to create abundance is limited, or the way that these forward thinking and these advanced technologies are being used, Okay. And I think that we are seeing a lot of it all around us these days. And as I was preparing this today, I remembered the story of Atlantis. I think that you probably heard about it. It's not just mythologic place. Okay. According to the Akashic Records, actually, Atlantis got destroyed because um, they definitely were discovering, like more and more advanced technology. They did have the means and they did have the support and the teachings to to help them create that sort of very advanced society in a way, and also in the way that they were living. But um, the changes that were following all that advancement actually were not for the good of all. So um, they basically were gravely misguided by a lack of morality and disrespect towards others. Now, I'm putting this like in a very, very simple way, okay? Just summing it up in a very simple way. So that means also basically getting in contrast with the spiritual laws, right? That are at work for every one of us, whether we are aware of them or not. They're right there, right? So I am afraid that we are seeing a little bit of a replica here, um, considering all that we've been hearing and everything that's been coming out these days on the news, related to this advancement of technology and how it's being used, and also like how difficult it seems for like regular people to control it, or to even um, limit its invasion of our own privacy in a sense. Okay. And unfortunately, I think that this is not the only part of history that sadly seems to be repeating itself. So I think that there is really a lot at stake here. And that is why it's so important we're all aware and in touch with our higher self, you know. So we are all invited to look for balance. And when I asked what they meant by balance, I heard knowing that you're a spirit operating on earth. And then, they continue by saying, can you imagine taking action always from that very balanced, beautiful, powerful place that is created, that you can access within you when you are in the world, um, owning that awareness that you are spirit in a physical body. And although this is definitely not the first time that you heard this, there is a difference between knowing this, in a chronological or mind level, as opposed to in your heart. Sorry. So there is a difference between knowing this on a mind level, like, yes, I heard this before, I know that, to or from knowing that in our hearts. Okay. Um, and when we know it in our hearts, we feel it. We can tell the difference. Okay. So imagine if more and more of us would daily make an effort or work towards that state of balance that help us remember that because we are spirit on earth, we have so much more power than we think. We can influence and contribute in such important ways to everything. So, remember that how is that going to change, change your actions, change your level of inspiration, change even like what you decide to do. And the image that I got was very beautiful because it was like a hand reaching out, and like there were many more hands that were reaching out of that hand. And the idea was like that when you start to take action, that when you start to move in the right direction, but you're coming from that balanced space inside of you, what happens is that you're creating a ripple effect of love because you are acting, you're being love, you're acting with love, you're making decisions from your higher self, you are moving with a completely different kind of energy. And so, um, it's the ripple effect of that love. And they brought me again to the metaphor of the garden that I've used many times. That was basically that the garden will be full of flowers because of those seeds that you once planted. And it's like helping us keeping in mind that, our actions today might not maybe show us the results right tomorrow, but um, speaking up for what we believe in, speaking up to help each other out, acting from a place of love, right? Those are all wonderful seeds that cannot but bring beautiful flowers, right, in the garden of our mind and our soul. Then they spoke about vision, and they said that the true vision is actually rooted in spirit, it's rooted in our soul, it's rooted also in the forces of the earth, that the earth provides us with, right? And those forces we have so that we can turn the inspiration, the spiritual energy into something tangible, right? Into something that we can see and that we can all enjoy and use. They said also this very beautiful thing that the water always reflects the color of the sky. And when I heard my guide saying that, I really like was blown away by the simplicity of this statement, and at the same time the depth that um, that was coming out of it, that was revealing, especially if we take, and look at the deeper meaning. And I really want to, that speak to you on the level that it has to, because I know that anything that I say will touch you in different places, so to speak. But I think that this is a very powerful awareness to contemplate. So if we let the spiritual self join with the earthly one, and then we keep both inside, like we stay aware of both of them, then the journey is going to become more enjoyable, is going to become stronger, better, richer, definitely also completely different as a result. So, there is so much that we all can contribute right now to the state of the world. And even if we think that we have very little power because, I'm just me and, I don't know anyone or I don't have any resources, those are just limiting ideas. And I think the invitation here is really to let those ideas go. especially to not let those ideas limit the awareness of our power and the possibilities that the right action taken with the right intention is going to create, again, not just for one person, not just for our uh, personal return. There's probably going to be that too, but especially that is going to be creating a ripple effect of goodness. And this is really what the Aquarian mind, right? The way that the Aquarian mind thinks. I can't help but thinking that because we're starting, the new year now with this kind of energy, this is probably going to be a kind of a year-long theme to support us. And it's definitely and obviously going to play out differently for every one of us. But I really hope that this message helps you. And mm, once again, I trust that it will find you where you are and take you where you need to be. And of course, if you have any questions or you want to share any ideas, please feel free to leave me a message under the video, and I would be happy to maybe create another video and answer you. By the way, that's all. This is Elisa. You have a wonderful start of your new cycle. Bye.